of the vault. This is Eerie's Vault Live, your number one stream for the uncanny, the weird, and the unexplained. Good evening, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, wherever in the cosmos you may be, and welcome to the show. This is Eerie's Vault Live, and I am your host, Eerie. We'll be opening up the phone lines, obviously, pretty soon. So if you want to be on the show, we'll find out how to do that a little later. But first, as is tradition nowadays, let's start out with a shout-out to those beautiful patrons and YouTube members. So we've got Andrew Dewey, Heather Maund-Jones, Natalie Leach, Pamela Piffer, Predatory House Elf, yes indeed, Vincent Hegeland, Baroque Lobster, Ben Hurl, Brian Henderson, Buster Piles, Chris Slee, E.J. Osborne, Greg Russell, Jerry Shelton, Louise Matthews, Mr. E, Adam Mitchell, Amanda McNeil, Baby with a Laser, Craig McClellan, Darren Jump, Doc Dingley, Farson's Finest, Giles Vint, Greg Russell, Henry, Hilltop Rambler, Ian Lewis, John Nelson, Keith Say, Melv, Paul Redruth, Steadbot, Todd Van Voris, Zach T, Aaron Osborne, Bizjadish 143, Buster Piles. Have I said Buster Piles twice? I may have done. Well, you get another one there, Buster Piles. Catman, David Morris, Gaynor Smith, Ginger Ninja, Harry Webb 46, Iron Bug, John Diver, John Douglas, keeps going, Johnny A, Matt T, Paul L, Pill Collins, Ramona Craig Hill, Rudolph Hooker, Ryan Sawboss, and Stu Graham, and do you know who I've never shouted out, and I really should have done? YouTube members, because we have a YouTube memberships as well. So Dav3 McDonald there, Paul L, Zill Thrill, and Sugar Sandwich. Thank you ever so much, all of you, for your vote of confidence in Eerie's Vault as your number one choice for strangeness. Now listen, if you are a member on YouTube, that is, if you are a YouTube member, you have a YouTube membership, don't forget you've got to email me so that I can give you access to the Eerie's Vault OneDrive. Okay, very special. But you must email so that I can get your email address and add you as a person who may access the ever-growing research archives here at Eerie Towers. Who's in the chat? Let's take a look today. We've got Purple Pipkin, hello there, and Baroque Lobster, good evening. Theme Queen's with us, good evening, Theme Queen. Stephen, Truth Seeker, hello, Stephen. Liz Sowden, hi, Liz. Jessen Friendy, all the way from Finland, welcome. We've got Darren Jump, hi, Darren. Hi, Matilda, Matilda's with us as well. Rubber Dub, that's a new name, I think. Welcome, Rubber Dub. James Glass from A Twisted Mind. Hello there, welcome. Dingley Dell, welcome Dingley Dell to the show. Adrian Mariner, hello and welcome. Who else have we got? You know I don't like to miss people out. I'm stifling a sneeze as we speak. I may have to go on mute and let it out. We shall see. Yes, it's going to happen. It happened. Yes, Buster's with us. Hi, Buster. Who else have we got? Paul Williams. Matty's white suit. Jolly good. Emu Cat. Welcome, Emu Cat. Just let me scroll down here. I think I have captured everybody there. Welcome, all of you, to the show. And thank you for being here with us tonight. 2 weeks have flown by. If I'm 100% honest with you, I could have gone to bed an hour ago. Nevertheless, we are here. We're involved, and we're doing it, aren't we? Yes, we are. I hope I'm not getting a cold. We don't want that sort of bad juju, do we? I don't really want that. Let's have some eerie news. Yes, so apparently particles have been observed emerging from nothing. Yes, physicists working at the Relativistic Heavy Ion Collider in the United States have reported experimental evidence consistent with particles emerging directly from the quantum vacuum. That is to say, empty space, which, as modern physics describes it, seemingly is not empty at all. Instead, it is a fluctuating field in which virtual particles constantly appear and vanish too quickly to be detected. Under certain conditions, however, those fluctuations can become real, observable matter. Researchers now report evidence that such transitions have been measured experimentally, confirming long-standing predictions of quantum chromodynamics. It's not a merely technical detail. It strengthens a profound implication that's already present in quantum theory, which is that matter itself may arise from instability within what appears at human scale to be nothing at all. For more than 2 decades, a fossil known as the Pulsipia mazonesis, I should have proofread this, I think, before I read it out, was believed to represent the earliest octopus ever discovered, dating back approximately 300 million years. It appeared to extend the evolutionary history of octopuses, should that be octopi, dramatically deeper into geological time. New imaging techniques have now overturned that long-standing conclusion. Synchrotron scans, synchrotron, of course, is one of the transformers, have revealed feeding structures inconsistent with octopus and characteristic instead of nautiloid relatives, which places the specimen on an entirely different branch of the cephalopod family tree. What had once seemed a revolutionary discovery has instead now become a correction. Nearly 200 million years of supposed evolutionary history have vanished quietly from the record. I always thought octopuses might be aliens themselves, but Brian Cox has said that they are remarkably similar to us, DNA-wise. Don't look it, do they? In Derbyshire, what appeared to be an isolated standing stone has now been identified as the centre of a Bronze Age ceremonial complex dating to roughly 1700 BC. The discovery began with the observation of a student who suspected that the stone's placement was unlikely to be accidental. Subsequent investigation revealed an oval stone arrangement surrounding a ceremonial platform constructed above a natural spring. Strong evidence of ritual activity in this pretty much prehistoric landscape. Significance here lies in the suggestion that other apparently solitary monuments in Britain might once have belonged to larger ceremonial environments, which have now been concealed by forests or erosion or farming and things like that. There may be lots buried beneath our feet that we're not aware of. Researchers investigating quantum energy, storage thereof, have proposed that future quantum batteries might be charged more efficiently by reversing time. Let's read that again. Quantum batteries might charge more efficiently by reversing time. That is to say, by reversing the mathematical evolution of quantum states. So it doesn't, unfortunately, involve travelling backward through time. Instead, it exploits the reversibility of certain quantum processes. Under controlled conditions, energy lost during a transfer can theoretically be recovered by reversing the system's evolution, allowing faster charging and improved efficiency. At the quantum level, time is not always a simple one-directional flow. Therefore, it can behave under particular circumstances more like a variable. And if we can replenish lost energy, then are we getting closer to an infinite energy machine? Is that possible, viewers? Who knows? And finally, we can turn to a story that's attracted growing attention over the past week. Reports have circulated concerning a number of deaths and disappearances involving scientists connected, directly or indirectly, to NASA, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Los Alamos National Laboratory, and related research environments. One of the cases most frequently cited is that of planetary scientist Michael David Hicks, who worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory between 1998 and 2022 and contributed to more than 80 scientific papers before his death in July 23 at the age of 59. No public cause of death was released. His case has since been discussed in a larger, let's call it, well, conspiracy theory, I suppose, along with the disappearances and deaths of other prominent figures. These include Frank Mywald, a JPL researcher who died in 24 without a disclosed cause, Monica Reza, a NASA scientist who disappeared during a hike in California in 2025, Anthony Chavez and Melissa Casillas, both associated with Los Alamos National Laboratory and reported missing in 2025. Jason Thomas, a pharmaceutical researcher, later found deceased after disappearing months earlier. Nuno Luriro, head of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, who was killed at home in 2025. Taken together, these approximately 9 deaths or disappearances involving individuals connected to advanced scientific research programs are really sort of gaining ground, not in mainstream media as such, but certainly in places like News Nation and channels such as that. No confirmed link, of course, has been established, but it's been heralded as a strange happening, sort of culminating ahead of what is supposedly going to be the year of disclosure again, right? But I've lost track of how many times we're supposed to have had disclosure. So there you go. An octopus disappears from history. Time becomes reversible, and we've got people going missing in strange circumstances. Speaking of which, there's a Missing 411 Paulides documentary on a digital platform, which I've forgotten the name of. And apparently now the S4 Bob Lazar documentary is viewable. So that'll be me this weekend, I think, watching that, certainly. I've been looking forward to the Lazar thing. I have seen many 411 interviews with Dave Paulides, that is. Nevertheless, I shall still watch that that show. I don't know if it was Netflix or Disney or whatever. They're all the same, aren't they, really? One of those. So, additionally, in Eerie News, we have, of course, lost Nick Pope, who was a key player in, let's say, disclosure conversations. And Nick has passed away. He had cancer, I believe. I'm just going to have to look this up now. Yes, he was diagnosed with, oh goodness me, esophageal cancer. He's died in Arizona at his residence on the 6th of April, so just a few days ago. He was aged 60. He's written multiple books. He's the go-to guy for, or was the go-to guy for many UFO documentaries and all of that sort of thing. Apparently had worked in the Ministry of Defence from 85 to 2006. He worked at the Secretariat, which is like an air staff thing, in the 90s, and this was more commonly known as the UFO desk, where his duties included investigating reports of UFO sightings to see if they had any defence significance, and of course he worked for the MOD as well, until 2009, when the MOD said that UFO sightings would no longer be reported on. So that's Nick Pope gone. That's Bigfoot might be fake after all. Jeff Meldrum has gone. That's 3, isn't it? Perhaps we're safe for a time. Perhaps nothing else is going to happen. Who knows? One would hope not, wouldn't one? So, have we got any more people in the chat? Let me see if I don't miss anybody out. Cat's Life. I don't know if I said hello to you. Hello, Cat's Life. Paul Williams. Hello there, Paul. What have we got here? Who else do we have in the chat? Man with a Pan. Hello, Man with a Pan. Welcome to the show. Mike is with us. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Emu Cat. I have said one of the cats, but I'll say hello to Emu Cat again. Yes, indeed. What's tonight's subject? So tonight's subject is... do you know, I don't know what tonight's subject is. We're heavily into Mantid Alien Month, or let's say Mantid Being Month at the moment, on the channel. So we have released the latest video, which was 4, I believe, mantid cases in the UK. Tomorrow, a video at 5 p.m. will be one of the most well documented cases of mantid alien contact in the UK. That video will be all about Simon Parkes, his apparent real mother, as he was told, which was a green mantid alien being, told him it was his real mother. The cat queen alien entity with which he had a relationship, let's say, and the resulting alien hybrid child named Zaka. You heard it right, and we'll be exploring that incredible, convoluted story tomorrow on Eerie's Vault at about 5 p.m. GMT. I've just seen a couple of other people join the chat there. Let's say Fleur. Hello, Fleur. Welcome. Ultra Mammoth. Hello, Ultra Mammoth, and welcome to the show. What a great name that is. Who else do I have? I think that's about it. Stalling for time a little bit, as you can probably tell. But yes, that's how it is. I've been faffing with my screens here. So, for example... This is Eerie's Vault Live, your #1 stream for the uncanny, the unexplained, and the strange. Yes, the strange. So I've tried to update my screens a little bit to match the sort of style of the channel. Yes, Buster, that's right. He mated indeed with a mantis. Well, I don't know if Cat Queen, as he calls it, was a mantis alien or a different being. I didn't really get that, as you'll see in the video. However, certainly there is, in his reports, a resultant hybrid child. Also, if you are a patron, you will get my honest take on it as a patrons exclusive video on Patreon, of course. That'll go out at 6 o'clock tomorrow. It is an odd story. I will present it on the channel, and on Patreon I'll give you my real take on it. James has watched a couple of videos that may have interdimensional fractures in our space-time. In one of the videos, a guy was broadcasting a certain frequency in his bedroom, and a portal/fracture opened up. Goodness me, I wouldn't fancy that, let me tell you. Liz says there's an excellent in-depth interview with Nick Pope on the Area 52 YouTube channel from some time ago, if anybody hasn't seen it and wants a sense of the breadth and depth of his knowledge. Yes. Emu Cat has suspicions about at least one ex-girlfriend. What, being a mantid? Hello, Blazing Air 2B. Welcome to the show. We're going to kick off with the phone lines in a short while. I seem to be struggling with a bit of a head cold, so I'm going to just take a slightly longer than normal break, and I'll be back with you in a jiffy. You're watching Eerie's Vault. Introducing the Eerie's Vault Patreon, where you can find mountains of research clippings and articles related to the cases discussed on the channel. Patrons-only case files that don't make it onto the YouTube channel are also shared for members. Exclusive follow-up videos, complementary to the main YouTube episodes, are also shared and include extra insight or additional cases not covered in the main episodes. You'll get extra videos giving my honest opinion about cases discussed on the channel. Do I really believe it all? Find out on Patreon. Enjoy interesting studies and presentations that I've discovered during my investigative journey into high strangeness. See exclusive on-location videos shot at the very locations discussed in our main episodes. See the exact places that these things happened and explore the area with me. Stay in the loop with Patrons group chat feature and carry on the discussion after the streams have ended. And the big one, patrons can access this massive Eerie's Isles interactive map that details literally hundreds of cases of high strangeness in the UK. Not only those from case file episodes, but also those mentioned in the live streams and others that I have found along the way. Browse this huge catalogue to find your area and see what weird things happen near you. The cases are organised into folders on the left-hand side, so you can drill down and choose specific cases here too, showing you the overview of what happened in that location and a link to the Eerie's Vault episode that covers it. You can also use the Super Thanks button to support the channel. Hit the ellipsis menu at the bottom right of the video and choose Thanks. Select a donation value and enter your message. And you can use Super Chat on the live streams by clicking on the $ in the bottom of the chat and then select a value and add your message. Maybe you want me to discuss something in particular, or maybe you especially want your comment read out on air. Super Chat is the way to do it. Eerie's Vault Live, your #1 stream for the uncanny, the unexplained, and the strange. That's right, the strange. Apologies for the long break there. I think I've sorted myself out. So, we have got the phone lines open right now. So if you want to phone in, there are the numbers on screen. If you have something you want to talk about, you want to tell us. For the UK, you can dial 0141 673 3743. That's 0141 673 3743. All you've got to do is spell out Mr. Eerie on your phone keypad. In the USA, it's 929 Mr. Eerie. That's 929 is a New York City number. So that's 929 Mr. Eerie. And for the USA outside of New York, it is 1-929 673 3743. I have a call coming in right now. Don't hang up, caller. Good evening, you're on Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Mr. Leon Eerie. How the devil are you, sir?
I know that voice. How are you?
I've been through the mill. It's been a funny old fortnight.
Yeah?
But thank goodness your jolly, fantastic show with all the lovely people herein is on tonight. So there we go. Yeah. All the better for your asking, mate.
Jolly
are you
good.
well?
Yeah. I'm always well.
You're always tired, I noticed. You always start saying, if I wasn't doing this, I could be in bed.
Yes, that's. I always begin a stream by saying I'm very tired and unprepared.
Yeah. Oh, bless you. Bless you. Yeah. So I've got to. It's one of the things because I emailed you some time ago with just some of the peculiar things that happen in my life. It's one of those things. It's in fact the second thing. The first thing was the hag, the spectral figure over my bed. When I was about 5. This one is to do with when I was I think I could have been anywhere between 6 and 10. It's a blur. The timing's a blur. I think I was probably 9 or 10 years old, but yeah.
Okay.
It's to do with that. It's an out-of-body experience.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. Well, all right. Where do I start? I've never been one who has appreciated religion. I've always been very, very wary of religion. My Sunday school teachers, they're all ex-nuns, and they were always hitting my hand with a ruler and got very, very angry at me because I'm left-handed. And they always forced me to write with my right hand. Well, I couldn't do that, could I? Because I'm left-handed.
Yeah, how ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. And then certain things about my dad's mother and certain other people in the family on my dad's side. Yeah, I noticed that they went to church, but the unwritten rule was they weren't great believers, if you know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so this experience I had, out-of-body experience, I think it was probably between 8 and 10. I don't know. Whenever your milk teeth come through, whenever you start growing and there's a problem with your teeth, that's where the out-of-body experience came from. Basically, I had to go to the dentist, and I had to have some back teeth removed. And I was petrified being an 8. I'm sure I was nearer 8 than 10. Anyway, I was petrified of having teeth pulled. And being a kid, typical kid, 8-year-old or whatever I was, petrified of injections, petrified of dentists. It didn't go well. So, long story short, is they gave me gas. They gave me gas. And that was that. So the next thing I know, I'm obviously under the influence of the gas, so I'm zonked out.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely zonked out. Now, bearing in mind that I was probably 8 or 10, between 8 and 10 years old, I've got no concept of 40 end times, of strange things, of the paranormal. You know, I've got no concept of any of the things that you have on your show today, any of the things that, you know, we all experience and we're all, thankfully, in this internet era, you know, are educated by experiences and learn to hear other people's experiences. So there I am, zonked out. But the weird thing was, I suddenly remember just going ping, I'm wide awake. And I was wide awake. The only thing was, I was level with the ceiling. I was looking down on myself.
Oh gosh, right.
Which for a couple of seconds, for a brief period, was like, wow, where am I? Oh, look, I'm looking at myself. But as soon as I looked at myself, pure horror set in. Because I am above myself looking down. As far as I'm concerned, I'm up there looking down on myself. But then I suddenly realised I'm looking at myself. And what's worse is my mum's tearing her hair out. She doesn't look very happy. There's a nurse there. There's a dentist. But I've got a bib on. So whatever they're doing to my body, all I'm aware of, looking down, is cotton wool swabs and lots and lots and lots of blood.
Oh dear.
So being a child, I thought,
the
bloody
worst.
hell, they take my heart out. Bloody hell, I'm dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, I'm dead. Well, no sooner as I thought those thoughts, I was no longer above the ceiling of the dentist, which is in East Street in Chichester. I was actually above the roof, looking down at the roof. I could see the tiles on the roof, the peg tiles. I was no longer in that room. And then I realised that I was naked, and I realised I was floating, and it felt lovely. And I could see everyone. It was a summer's day. I could see everyone. And I felt like Peter Pan, you know, you're a kid. So I did the only thing that a kid would do in that situation was go, whee! I had the arms in front of me 1 minute, like Superman, the arms by my side flying like Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And I was whizzing all over East Street, all over town in Chichester.
And were you controlling it, or were you being sort of led?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was able to control it.
Wow.
And what I saw in the dentist chair, just completely forgotten. Didn't affect me. I just felt elated that I was flying. And I felt elated that I could control it to the extent that I was whizzing and then slowing down over people's heads. You know, 10 feet, 5 feet over people's heads. I could see people. I could see everything in great detail. The whole world was going on.
Incredible.
In great detail. But then what happened was I got Chichester's a Roman city, north, south, east, west street, meets in the middle, and there's a big stone marketplace is across market cross. I got to that, and then I flew over top of that, all elated, and then you've got immediately in the street, you've got the cathedral. And it being a sunny day in the afternoon, the sun's always in the west.
Yeah.
But I wasn't seeing the sun. I could see the sun, but immediately off to one side of the cathedral spire, right above the cathedral roof, was a massive white light. You know, and obviously, as an adult, you know, you watch all these films and you
go towards the light. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I know never to go to the light. I've now become, because of that experience, not because of it, but what I think I believe of it now, and various things. Mr. Hyde, thank you, Mr. Hyde, and various other YouTube channels. I've now become a Gnostic, because the one thing you shouldn't do is go into the light.
And why do they say that? Is that the end? If you go into the light, is that the end of it?
Oh, very interesting question, Mister. I'm glad you asked me. It is the end, and it isn't the end, but not for the reasons that we understand, because we are led to believe that God is good, and we're led to believe that God is creation, and so on. Yeah. We're also, through Hollywood, through films and books and various things, we're told to go into the light. And as my father had died a couple of years ago, nearly 2 years ago now, and various other people that die, it is a common thing for them to see someone at the foot of the bed. They're talking to someone that we can't see.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is commonly accepted by medical staff, medical people, that it's a thing. When people die, someone comes to them, and we're told to go into the light. Now, if you are interested in religion, if you're interested in theology, if you're interested in Mr. Paul, is it Wallace? Paul Wallace, I think it is. The Fifth Kind.
Okay.
Yeah, the Fifth Kind YouTube channel. He used to be an Anglican priest. If you delve into these things, the idea amongst Gnostics is that the person that comes to get you is a representation of someone. It could be a mother, a loved one, a child who died tragically. It's always someone that you love. Well, the modern thinking is that those people that come to get us are called archons, Archons, and they are, I suppose, similar to angelic beings of the demiurge. So anyone that's interested in this kind of malarkey, go and Google it. Go and look it up yourselves. Come to your own conclusions. All I know is that I was drawn to the light when I was a child, when I had my out-of-body experience, but everything felt off. Everything, the more I got to it, the more everything felt off, which as an adult ties into the things I've recently learned and experienced and so on.
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't go into the light. I come away from the light feeling very, very sad. Very, very sad, but knowing I shouldn't go into it. And then basically I returned into my body. But as I got near to my body, I didn't want to go back into it. I didn't want to return. I was happy floating around.
Enjoying the freedom of it, yeah.
I was drawn back into my body, literally, and I could actually see like a fishing line, very fine fishing line between me and the body, me, in the chair.
I've heard that described before as well, yeah.
But I the last thought I had in the whatever realm, spectral realm, whatever you want to call it, was an overwhelming feeling of sadness, loss and sadness. And of course, the next minute, I found myself in the chair, the physical me, who's got no idea where he was, no recollection of what happened until I was on my way home. And I was violently sick everywhere, probably because of the gas. There you go.
Possibly,
I'm in this space anyway.
So, do you think the light... Here's a question for you then. Do you think the light was intelligent?
Oh, it's definitely intelligent. But in my opinion, it's not good intelligent, because if you study Gnosticism and so on, their belief is that if you good question, because you just reminded me that the gist of the whole thing is that if you go into the light, you are recycled. And only one person in 100,000 escapes it. Because if you believe in Gnosticism, which is the real teachings of Jesus and of Moses before him, and it goes back to, it aligns with the Anunnaki and the whole Syrian thing, and it's a big rabbit hole, deep rabbit hole to dive into. But the belief of Gnostics and certain civilization before that is that the demiurge is also the god known as Yahweh, and he didn't create the earth. It was a being called Sophia, which is a female form. So basically, if you go into the light, you are given certain tests. You float around the universe. You visit planets. You're given tests. Basically, the archons, they're there to almost trick you. So they will dress up as your relative who beckons you into the light. And if you're happy in the light, great.
You want to go there.
And if you want to go into that light, you will be recycled, meaning that your soul will always stay on this earth, always be reborn, to make the same mistakes, to do the same things.
And are you reborn? So is this an extension of sort of Buddhist reincarnation, or is this you will be recycled as another human being?
Well, in what I can believe, what I've read and what I've seen, that's a very, very, very good question, because apparently most of the world religions have the same stories. They all talk about the Great Flood. They all talk about destruction of this, that, and the other. Destruction of giants and so on. There's a lot of tales in most world histories that do correlate. Regards to the Buddhism thing, no, it's more to do with Christianity and aspects of early parts of Islam. But apparently, you do come back as a human. And what their job is, the demiurge and the archons, is to keep you anchored to Earth. Because apparently the demiurge and the archons, they feed off of our energy and our fears. They feed off of our energy and fears. They don't want us going into being part of the universe. They don't want us returning to that. They want to trap us here on Earth, because they are apparently harvesting us, our fears and our energy. They're feeding off of it, apparently.
Good Lord.
Which is interesting when you consider what's been in the news regards certain elites and their supposed, alleged worship of Baal, world leaders.
And their ceremonies and all of that. Yeah, you're right.
It's like anything. It's a big, big rabbit hole. Once you jump down it, if you've got an open mind, you will discover more. But the more you discover, the more you realise that certain dots connect.
Yeah.
Just like I believe that ghosts, aliens, gnomes, and things of years ago are just an interpretation of what we see as aliens today, if you look historically.
Yes, I'm of that sort of opinion as well, that it's this different dressing for the same thing.
Exactly. But the wonderful thing is, if you go, sorry to bounce about like this,
it's all right.
But my belief firmly is, what was once gnomes, elves, fairies, aliens, any type of alien, the clown on the Isle of Wight, whatever, they're one aspect of something, and then married to that, different but still the same, is ghosts and the paranormal. And then you've got the Bigfoot and you've got the cryptids. And I believe that what connects them is to do with the CERN thing, because apparently I'll have to find the damn thing. I will send it to you. There's a woman, a whistleblower.
CERN, as in the collider CERN.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
I have to find it. I think it was, what damn channel was it? I will send you a link. I will send you the link.
Yeah, please.
Because what she says is that lots of people that she knows who work at CERN all say that things were emitting on a certain day at a certain test to do with, funny enough, to do with the full moon and whatever pages festival. There were things coming out of it and there were things emitting it. Apparently, there were seeing black figures, almost like shadow figures, coming out of it for a brief thing. So my belief is that all these figures, ghosts, UFOs, whatever, they are merely something to do with the multiverse. Because if you believe in the multiverse, there are, well, untold, it's universal. So I believe that all these figures come across from another multiverse when their world rubs against ours.
Yeah.
And it's full of everything. I'll stop rattling on about that now because I've taken far too much time up.
That's all right. You've opened another can of worms for us there, certainly.
Yeah, but it's brilliant, isn't it?
It is. It's wonderful to think about and to sort of philosophize about it and just explore ideas more than anything else,
Because all these things were ghosts, cryptids, whatever, UFOs, whatever. There's so much, it happens all over the world. Everyone sees the same thing.
That's right. Culturally different dress, but yeah. I'm sorry.
That's my theory, but these things happen, perhaps more people are tuned into it, and it happens when all the worlds rub together.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. Anyway. Right.
Well, sir.
I will shut my face and I enjoy the rest of the show. Give someone else to go.
Fabulous. Thank you for that very much indeed, John. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yes.
Take care, mate.
Cheerio. Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, we've started with the bar set pretty high there, ladies and gents. We've hit philosophy mode immediately. How wonderful. Yes. So this Gnosticism thing is, I haven't delved into it. However, it seems like a fascinating area of study. It has, of course, reminded me of two very silly reincarnation jokes that I've probably told you before, but nevertheless, one of which will probably only work for people in the United Kingdom, but however, I'll explain it afterwards. So the first is a friend of mine, we were discussing reincarnation, and this friend of mine was famously sort of dull and unenthusiastic about everything. And he said, I don't know about reincarnation. Knowing my luck at the moment, I'd just come back as myself, which I thought was hilarious when he said it. And the other one, I'm sure it's Les Dawson, said, who wants to go through reincarnation anyway? Who wants to come back as a tin of condensed milk? Yes. And be in tip-top condition. There you go, double whammy. Quite. That's the two reincarnation jokes I know of. Emu Cat says, if mantids are an advanced race, would you want to evolve off this earth just in case you wake up? with tendrils. I'm not sure about the mantid thing. It's I don't know if the mantid's just a little bit too much for me to get behind, if you know what I mean. That's a Noel MacDonald joke, isn't it? Podiums. Now there's a product I can stand behind. Yes. Let's hit the emails. So I have an email from Ian in Runcorn about Bigfoot. It says, I've never been of the mind that the Patterson-Gimlin film could not have been a man in a suit, because it always could have been, despite there being some compelling details to the footage. The most obvious explanation for the film has always been that it was fake. That said, perhaps the most obvious explanation for the newly discovered rehearsal footage is that it is also fake, and we'll simply spend the next 60 years discussing the pros and cons of this new footage. It does seem convenient to me that just as when technology to fake a film about a fake film becomes widely available, lo and behold, said film enters the conversation. I'm not drawn either way on claims from The Sun that the original was a fake, because talking about Bigfoot, whatever the angle is, and still presumably putting food on their table. Sasquatch is their business, or part of it at least. But what does it matter anyway? Another fake film does not turn all of the stories of encounters we've heard into lies. And even if it does, I still enjoy them, says Ian. Keep them coming, indeed. And while we're on the subject of myth-busting, I prefer to live in a world with a bit of mystery in it, he says. So do I. I like living in a world where a mysterious painter leaves his work on the streets for free. The last thing I want to know is who Banksy actually is. Yes, that was a thing, wasn't it, recently? I just wonder what service these people are doing, really, exposing what most people don't need exposing. Bad example, maybe, but deep down I think this new fake Bigfoot footage adds to the mystery. It doesn't detract from it, in this writer's opinion, of course. Ian, thank you very much for that. You've echoed some of my sentiments there. The ease with which one might make an AI video showing a test run of Patty. Well, now's the time to do it, right? That's now is when you would do it. And what an odd time for the film to enter the conversation. I am still looking forward to seeing that documentary when it comes out. Trying to not assume it's going to be rubbish. We'll have to see, won't we? We shall have to see. I can see Andrea's with us. Hello, Andrea. Welcome. Miller 10 after 10. Hello there. Welcome. Sorry, Milia. Excuse me. David Owens. Hello there. Tiffany, I've seen in the chat there. You know I don't like to miss anybody out, don't you? Hashi Larry. Hello, Hashi Larry. Welcome. And I think that's everyone for now. Oh no, Steadbot's with us. Hello, Steadbot. Welcome again to the show. Now, I've got another one. It's a short one here, which is from Nicole, who says, I'm not sure if you'd be interested in my story. It's not documented anywhere, not for lack of trying. After being witness to a UFO incident in 1993, visitations started shortly afterwards. Would you be interested in hearing my story for your channel? Nicole, if you're out there listening, yes, I absolutely, most certainly would. If you're on tonight, you can call. We'll be taking a break in 2 minutes, so call after the break. But yes, I would love to hear that story. I will reply to the email during the break as well, because as regular viewers know, I'm terrible at replying to things, which is difficult really for people on the waiting for a reply end, isn't it? So I'm sorry about that. Now, I can see Sugar Sandwich is in the chat. Welcome to the show, Sugar Sandwich. Now, if you email me, Sugar Sandwich, then I can give you access as a YouTube member to the Eerie's Vault OneDrive archive of research, newspaper clippings and magazine articles and bits and bobs that I've used to put together episodes in the past. So as a member, you get that perk. So if you would like to email me, it's eeriesvault@gmail.com. It's there on the screen. Then I can add your email to the Access, what would I call it? Dossier or something like that. And you will be able to access the OneDrive and read all the many, many things that I've got in there. We're going to take a break. We're just about at the top of the hour now. I'm going to repeat the break from previously because I wasn't expecting to take a break earlier on, and I had to just briefly. So, yes, we'll be back on the phone lines after this relatively short and peaceful, calm break. You're watching Eerie's Vault. Introducing the Eerie's Vault Patreon, where you can find mountains of research clippings and articles related to the cases discussed on the channel. Patrons-only case files that don't make it onto the YouTube channel are also shared for members. Exclusive follow-up videos, complementary to the main YouTube episodes, are also shared and include extra insight or additional cases not covered in the main episodes. You'll get extra videos giving my honest opinion about cases discussed on the channel. Do I really believe it all? Find out on Patreon. Enjoy interesting studies and presentations that I've discovered during my investigative journey into high strangeness. See exclusive on-location videos shot at the very locations discussed in our main episodes. See the exact places that these things happened and explore the area with me. Stay in the loop with Patrons group chat feature and carry on the discussion after the streams have ended. And the big one, patrons can access this massive Eerie's Isles interactive map that details literally hundreds of cases of high strangeness in the UK. Not only those from case file episodes, but also those mentioned in the live streams and others that I have found along the way. Browse this huge catalogue to find your area and see what weird things happen near you. The cases are organised into folders on the left-hand side, so you can drill down and choose specific cases here too, showing you the overview of what happened in that location and a link to the Eerie's Vault episode that covers it. You can also use the Super Thanks button to support the channel. Hit the ellipsis menu at the bottom right of the video and choose Thanks. Select a donation value and enter your message. And you can use Super Chat on the live streams by clicking on the $ in the bottom of the chat and then select a value and add your message. Maybe you want me to discuss something in particular, or maybe you especially want your comment read out on air. Super Chat is the way to do it. Eerie's Vault Live, your #1 stream for the uncanny, the unexplained, and the strange. The strange, the uncanny. This CERN collider thing's got me thinking again. You know, it's what's it doing? So if we were to look at sort of the conspiracy theorist level of what, because isn't there a statue of Shiva outside the CERN collider as well? Isn't there some sort of statue of a deity outside there as well, which some people suggest hints at its real purpose? It's all rather Stranger Things, isn't it? Portals to other dimensions, if you will. Although that's putting it into a very modern context, isn't it? There are other better things than Stranger Things, you know. But is it what is it I'm trying to say? The portal thing. So the smashing together of particles, you know, is that it could be making portals, or this, you know, our opening news story, which was particles emerging from nothing, you know. And it's not quite nothing, is it? But it's, isn't it, I'm trying to simulate the Big Bang or something. So you're kind of brushing against the structure of space-time itself, whatever space-time is. I mean, we say it, don't we, you know? So you're testing not simply what the universe is made of, really, but you're testing how it's put together, I suppose. I think that's really what they're doing. And if reality therefore has layers, then perhaps those layers can be crossed, as Adrian Mariner has just put in the chat, like a gateway. And you'll sometimes hear people say, you know, the collider's opening portals. But tiny fractures in the fabric of space, which can become a way through, perhaps. I don't think we're talking about glowing doorways, you know, in the air, as you would see in a Hollywood sort of interpretation of it, but microscopic wormholes that flicker into existence and then vanish, really, before they can be measured. I think that's probably what we're talking. And this statue, this dancing figure of Shiva, because isn't Shiva the creator of worlds? Isn't that what Shiva is? I might have to resort to Google in a minute. I will defer to the chat. Is Shiva the creator of worlds or destroyer of worlds or something. I think officially it's like a diplomatic gift from India, isn't it? On the where is it? Sort of, it's on the border. Where is CERN? Um, Switzerland, Franco-Swiss border, isn't it? So Shiva both then, Sugar Sandwich, is that right? The destroyer or the... Oh, it's both. And the dance apparently represents the cycle of the creation and destruction. Okay, right. So it's supposedly a diplomatic gift from India. But of course other people feel like it's a message or a warning even, isn't it? Creation and destruction, endings and beginnings, universes, not just us, but universes born and erased in rhythm, in sort of a cycle, as it were. It's not difficult to see how a particle collider begins to look less like a microscope, let's say, looking at the reactions, but it's more like a key, isn't it? If you look at it in this way, more like a key. And there are stranger claims than that. Some stories say that timelines shift after Collider began operating, don't they? Some sort of I recall some. Oh gosh, what was the girl's name? I wonder if it's the same girl that John's going to send me a link to watch. But some say that the timelines shifted after the collider began operating, that memories of people who work there didn't match recorded history, Such things like familiar logos and spellings changed, geography altering subtly, Mandela effect. Yes, that's there you go. That's what Stephen's saying there. That's why you get Mandela effects and Steadbot there. Yeah, since the collider started. And these accounts get grouped under that sort of moniker, don't they? Psychologists offer explanations around Mandela, don't they? Oh, it's the old fallible memory and fallible perception, and some observers preferring a different possibility. Some observers preferring that interpretation of things after the machine started running. Some go further still, and they say that the collider isn't operating alone, not like an autonomous machine, let's say, but how do you put it? In a sense of the collider may have its own intention. I've heard this, that it might be a signaling device as well as a experimental one, that somewhere beyond our universe, or really folded inside it. I mean, that's where we are heading, isn't it, with all of this wormhole business, that there might be an intelligence capable of noticing when the vacuum itself is disturbed, if you know what I mean, that it may have its own sentience, I suppose. It's worth remembering, of course, every civilization on Earth has imagined these sort of, what I've often referred to as liminal spaces, these thin places where locations, where the boundary between worlds just seems weaker. And often these liminal places are places like graveyards and particularly bodies of water, railway lines as well, for some reason, and ancient lakes and things like that. And if you look back, just as John was saying earlier, if you look back at all the stories of the little people, fairy hills and spirit gates and, I don't know, underworld entrances concealed beneath barrows and burial mounds. These are hidden realms that exist beside your own, rather, separated not by sort of galaxies and traversable distance, but just by perception sometimes. And it's no different for this sort of superconducting tunnel, is it? And this enormous chamber. It's become, in the modern imagination, what stone circles once were, really, if you think of it in that way. You know, a place where just the curiosity of humans presses up against something just enormous and invisible and unfathomable. It's a very similar feeling, isn't it? The idea persists, you know. Are there deeper truths about ourselves? Are there deeper truths about the universe? But who's in charge of it all? Did the CERN thing get created as a genuine scientific investigative tool by intelligent minds who just wanted to investigate all this stuff? Or was there some direction or coercion or instruction from an alternative intelligence that perhaps wanted this thing to have been created in our universe? It's, you know, unfathomable, isn't it? I mean, that's the reality of it. It's absolutely unfathomable, and it's fascinating as well. So that's CERN, you know. That's my take on CERN. Emu Cat says this timeline can bugger off, to be honest. Well, yes. Steadbot says, I think shifts in reality have likely always happened, but historically people were less aware and just chalked things up to their imagination, where now we are more aware and we question things. I do think as well that the internet has facilitated the more rapid and, let's say, furthered reporting of these sort of things as well, you know. And without that immediate information sharing possibility, then, you know, you lose the synchronicity, don't you? You lose that synchronicity of, well, this has happened here and here and here, you know, and it all ties up and it's all related somehow. But that's me waffling. The lines are open. What's Steadbot saying? I think the increased connections and communications has raised our awareness. I think so too. I think that we neurologically are very different beings to what we were 30 years ago, let's say, just because of the constant programming of your mind, because information is programming of your mind, and it's a constant, endless dirge of information, isn't it? And I certainly feel my mind is in a heightened state of awareness. It's almost on a defense a lot of the time, my mind, because of the relentlessness of information at the moment. Some of which I look for, some of which I don't, some of which finds me, you know. Again, fascination. Yes, you need to filter the information, says Stephen. It's very difficult to do, I find. I wonder if there are techniques for doing that. The lines are open. You can call 0141 673 3743 from the UK. That's 0141 673 3743. From the US, it's 929 673 3743. It's the same number, just different area or country codes, right? That's in the USA. It's a New York City number. You have got outside of New York in the USA, of course, it's 1929, Mr. Eerie. And for the rest of the world, I can only accept calls on WhatsApp, unless you want to call internationally. That's up to you. I don't know how much it costs me if you do that. We ran out of credits once, didn't we? But yes, for the rest of the world, you can call on WhatsApp. It's 07903 775 899. And of course, you can email. So if you're not into talking online, if you're not really a fan of that, then you can email eeriesvault@gmail.com. That's eeriesvault@gmail.com. And you can talk about whatever you like. Let's take a sip of tea. Oh, that's rather hot. Stephen says I did email you. Oh, 1 minute, Stephen. I'll come back to that. Here is a call. Are we? We're on the desktop, aren't we? Yes, we are. Hello, this is Eerie's Vault Live. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Eerie. How are you doing?
I am not too bad. Bit of a head cold, I think, but not too bad. How about you?
I didn't feel all that good this week, but everybody said the same thing. They haven't been feeling well. People have got colds and flu and everything else going on.
How terrible. It's not good, is it?
No, I think kids are off school. Kids are off school, so that's what happens.
It's their fault, is it? They're spreading it around. How dare they?
Yeah, they're spreading it around. It's like, I love you all, but please let me spread my germs. And speaking of school things, my niece was off earlier, and she was telling me, she said, I didn't like school. She said, I don't like my school, it's crap. And I had actually said, if you think your school was bad, mine was bad, because I swear that place was haunted.
A haunted school? Okay.
It was the same school that we heard the, you remember me explaining and telling you about the air raid siren? And
yes, I do.
Boom.
Yes.
Now, this was the same school, because a lot of weird things happened in that school that we all kind of just sort of like acknowledged it and then didn't freak out.
Ah.
It was just that kind of school. There's quite a lot of strange things that happened, so I'll try and entertain you all with school stories, freaky things that happened to Fleur.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So the first one was, we used to have a classroom in what we called the dungeons. And the dungeons was basically a lower half of the school. It had an upper half and a lower half.
The dungeons. Okay, we're off to a good start with that.
Yeah, we called it the dungeons, but in reality it was just a set of classrooms that were just a bit lower underground.
Mm.
And there was one classroom that we took history in, and nobody seemed to like that classroom. We all were just a bit unsure about it. And one particular day we had been doing some, I think it was poster work about, of all things, Tudor boats. I don't know why we did Tudor boats, whatever that was about.
Okay.
And my teacher had said to me, if you finished your work, could you pin everybody's finished work at the back, because I want to pin your year's work up, because you've done really well, kind of thing. And I said, sure. And I just, I'm pinning there, putting one pin there, one pin there.
Hey.
And next thing I know, I felt just like the room was spinning. It was kind of strange, like the room was spinning, and it was, again, slipping sideways. And this time, this was way before the air raid siren had happened. This was years before, because the original school had been knocked down and there was a new one in place. And I felt like I was slipping sideways, and the people behind me, their desks actually sort of moved. They were holding on to their desks as well. So I just jerked my head and I turned around, and everybody's looking around as though to say, what just happened? What just happened? And that's, we're all shrugging our shoulders, and I realized I had been pinning all these sheets up on the wall. They were back to where they were originally, and the pins were back to where they were originally on the desk.
Oh.
And I'm just, like, everybody's looking around and just getting back to their work. And I'm like, I didn't leave. I'm like, I put that work up before. The pins, there can't have been that many pins. So I'm looking at the board and I'm like, there's hardly any on the wall. But I know I pinned about 12 on there, and there's only about 3. So that was, like, really weird.
So is that a sort of time slip, but you didn't move?
Nope, I didn't move. I didn't move. As though time didn't move. But what we were doing, where the classroom was, sort of just went back a couple of seconds. It was really weird because we were all looking back. So like, oh, great. And obviously we didn't say anything. We didn't acknowledge it. Just went, this is cool. And I just went back to pinning everything on the wall. And then I sat down and did some more work. But somebody was like, what just happened there? And we all just talked about it with each other. Didn't think anything of it because it was, again, I don't know what with that school. It was just weird to me, really weird.
A strange school. Of course, if you're going to have a time slip in school, you want it to time slip right to about half past 3, don't you?
Not backwards.
Yeah, that's right.
Not backwards. But it was just a strange school. Like, as an example, they had very old-fashioned doors. And every now and again, you would be standing nowhere near it, and the doors would just slam.
Gosh.
They would slam on you. And one time a friend of mine had been standing, we were just all sitting and talking, as you do, blowing the breeze. And my friend had said, I wonder what's going to go on today, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, the door just slammed next to her. So she came running home. We're all going, what the hell did you do? She said, I didn't do anything. The doors just slammed it because they would always slam with nobody near them. That was the weird thing. They would just slam as though when nobody was around. And you just hear it in the cloakroom. If you were standing outside the classroom, you would hear like a door just in a random area just slam.
Pretty freaky,
there was no
isn't it?
Wind.
Yeah.
No wind, no breeze. Was
it in reaction to something, or was it sort of randomly happening?
Well, that's the thing we don't know because we were so used to it that nobody really said anything. It was odd, but nobody was like, oh, it's okay. It's okay, whatever. We all just acknowledged it and just moved on.
It's very accepting of you, isn't it?
Yeah, we all just like, oh, whatever. Then sometimes we would hear voices in the hallways.
Oh no, I don't like that. Ooh.
We would hear voices in the hallways, like as an example. I don't know what had happened, but one of our classes had got mixed up.
Yeah.
And we were all standing in the hallway just waiting for whoever was coming to teach us. And you could hear like whispers coming from down the hall. And obviously this is a really old science block. It's not hardly ever used. And we're all just going, I don't like this. We would just hear like somebody like going, things like that would happen.
Oh, no, thank you. No.
And we would just go, ooh, that's weird. That is weird. And obviously we were like really glad when the old school got torn down and the new one got put up, but that was no better because that's when the time slip happened.
Yeah,
with the
same land, isn't it? Mm.
Yeah, it was the same land. Again, we just all got used to it. We're all not freaking, we all didn't freak out. It was just like really common.
Which is really
bothered about it.
Really odd, isn't it? What sort of things did the voices say then? Did they say specific things?
It just sounded like you couldn't make out the whisper.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't make it out, and obviously the school itself had been built, I think, in the 1950s. So people had obviously been around there, and I don't know whether somebody had come back to haunt us and whisper us, hey, what's the answer to number 3? we just weren't freaked out by that. But it was really odd. But one thing that sort of freaked me out, because the time skip actually didn't freak me out as much, but it was something that happened to my friend. We used to have the classroom at the top, and one day I was sitting and I was reading a book with somebody else in the classroom. I think I'd been there about 5 minutes. He'd been there about 10. And the door just whammed open, and a lad who I knew from years back just watching, and his face was trying to just tell, like he was going, and I just turned, what's the matter with you? Because I was just annoyed that there. And he said, how did you get up here? And I just said, what do you mean, how did I get up here? I said, I walked. Because I was talking about, I walked? And he said, no, you weren't. You were in the library. I saw you a minute ago. I said, I just went up those stairs. You were in the library. How did you get up here?
Oh. What's that? What's the word for that?
Doppelganger, I suppose.
Yeah, or the beam me up Scotty sort of transport. Goodness me, what's the word? Teleportation.
And I just said to him, Joe, I have been up here for the past 15 minutes. I said, so-and-so's been up here for the past 10 minutes. He can tell you that I've been up here. And Joe was like, denied. He said, no, you were there. I saw you in the library. No, how could I be when I've been up here for how long? I said, I can't have walked. He said, but you were sat down. I said, how can I be sat down in the library when I have been up here? I literally had to calm him down and say, there is no way that I could have got up there. I would have had to have run faster than you to get up those stairs.
Gosh, I wonder what he saw then.
Apparently, I was sitting full view of him in the library. He saw me when he left. So he assumed I was downstairs, but in reality, I'm like, I've been up here for the past 15 minutes. I said, there is no way that it can be up there. There is just no way that I could have got there quicker.
Were you thinking of going to that other place, or had you been there? No, weird.
No, I've not been in the library. I've been in the classroom with speaking to another friend of mine for I'd been there about 5 minutes before they came. So we'd been up there about 10 minutes alone, just talking and doing our work.
Yeah.
But he said, I swear to God, he said, I saw you in that library. He said, I saw you in that library when I left. You were sitting on a chair and you were reading a book. And I'm like, no. And it wasn't the first time that it did happen, because a couple of people had said, yeah, I saw so-and-so over there, but then they were upstairs or they're downstairs. Or people would just randomly go, I thought I saw somebody there, and then they're not there. Or we would have the fire doors, the doors that you have for like a fire door.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
They would actually open and close as well, so they would open and you would hear the fire alarm go off. So the caretaker used to come and close the door. That was kind of freaky as well.
It is, isn't it? Gosh, yeah. And for a lot of these things, what amazes me is how blasé everybody's reaction seems to be. You're saying you were so used to it.
It was just so normal for us that we weren't bothered. We weren't frightened. We were just like, it's just weird things happen at this school. Again, with the door slamming. That was just biggest. Oh, it's just the ghost. Oh, there's whispers. Oh, it's just the ghost. It would just be a laugh where we would just laugh about it, because strange things just would happen.
Yeah.
We didn't see. Interestingly, people, when I do tell people, like, did you see any like ghosts? We never saw anything. You never saw when you think of full-bodied we never saw any apparitions. We never saw a single thing. never saw anything. And that's what I was like. I was just again years back. You go, oh well, that's kind of like I'd be a bit freaked out now. But as kids, you were just so normal.
Well, I guess so, yeah, because kids don't really. Well, I mean, obviously, not every kid is the same, and I think, and I do think sometimes you can sort of do kids a disservice by saying they're not as aware of what they're seeing. I think that they're fully aware of things happening, but maybe just don't have a layer of what should we say? A layer of meaning attached to what they might be seeing, which might make them frightened of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because, again, we were just, it's normal for us. It was just, this was so normal that we didn't think about it. We were just, that's why we were blasé, because we just, whatever. It was just like a whatever thing, happened every other day, wasn't bothered.
So I wonder how
and
many...
then you just think, years back, I'm like, why did we not report this to the teachers?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But
why didn't we report this? Why didn't we freak out? Nobody did.
Doesn't it make you think? Doesn't it make you wonder how many people have reached adulthood who did see anomalous things, but they just cannot remember it, and they've got no idea that actually, at some point in time, they did live through something anomalous. You know, I wonder how many of us are out there sort of just unaware that once upon a time we did have these things happening around us.
That's actually an interesting point. There probably are people who these kind of things have happened to, but you just don't remember it. It's like there's probably more things that happened within the school, but I can't recall them.
Yeah.
Or just people, like as an example, in a geography classroom, there would be once somebody actually said, "Hey, did you see the books falling over?" And I was like, "No, I don't remember any books because this is years. This was when we were adults. Do you remember in that old geography classroom, the books used to fall over from on the back?" And I'm like, "No."
Do you know, I hated geography. Absolutely hated it. It was right after lunch.
And that was ours was in the ours was in the afternoon.
Well.
But no, somebody said Rio. It was like because my friend was called Rio, and it was like, "Hey Rio, do you remember this?" And she said, "No, I don't remember it." None of us could remember that the geography classroom used to have books in it that used to fall over all the time without nobody being there. I couldn't remember it. Rio couldn't. My other friends couldn't remember it, but that person did. And I'm like, God, if that's all you remember, you must have had a good time there.
Yeah. Or maybe just blanked it out or something. Very unusual, isn't it? Very unusual.
Yep, I'm just, to be honest, I was just kind of like, it just happened so regularly that we just all saw it as normal. Rest of the time it was fine. Like I said, it would be just, rest of the time you just got on with it. You went home and that was it.
Well,
you went home, played on your PlayStation, did whatever you could do, and that was it.
Oh gosh! or in my day, you went home and you played with some toy that you could not plug into the electric, like a transformer or a gosh, I can't even remember, a space hopper or something.
All the things that kids should have now.
Oh yeah,
kids should have those because it gets them out. But no, I don't know whether you had any things like that eerie happen when you were in school, or whether your school was actually normal.
Not in school, but you know, I did get forced to go to a church at the time in my childhood. My father was particularly into his religion. He's not anymore. He's one of these people who just picks something that he enjoys for a few years and then moves on to something else. But he made us all live through it as well. So we were forced to go to church often. And that place, that church, there were bits of it that there was no way I was going to walk into. I don't know why. I just did not want to walk into certain bits of that church.
That's actually quite interesting because a friend of mine, they're American, and they had recalled something to me which is kind of odd, because he only told me this story once, but his parents used to volunteer at a church, and his father had let him and his brothers go into the church, and they said, just be careful when you go in, there's a lot of really loose boards, don't go too far. And this lad just, he was walking in, and he sees in the corner of his eye just this black mass come flying towards him, and he's frightened, and he said he was saying the Lord's Prayer.
Oh.
He was saying the Lord's Prayer to it. He was closing his eyes because he was genuinely frightened. But this thing was angry, it was aggressive towards him. He said it was a demon. He said this demon came towards me, and he was saying the Lord's Prayer, and it tried to grab hold of him, but the cross he was wearing was repelling it back. So he closed his eyes, and he saw this thing back away, and he described that it turned into a black rat with red eyes.
Oh, gosh.
And
goodness me.
It went through a crack, and he saw it walk out of the church and into, because he lives in the desert, he said it walked into the desert and disappeared. So I'm wondering if a lot of churches do have some very odd things.
Oh, definitely. Definitely they do. They have some
very...
very...
scared anyone with that, but that's my friend's experience with what he calls demon church. He calls it the church demon.
Oh, goodness
but
me.
To him, it was terrifying because he said, no, that, he said, obviously I laughed and like, oh, you're joking. He said, no. He said, that was a demon that came. He said, that was a demon that came straight at me. He
attacked
actually told
him, basically.
Yep. He attacked, and he said, if I'd not said the Lord's Prayer, held my cross up, it would have gone and attacked me. He did tell his parents, and his parents just said, right, we're off. And they took the kids, and they went home and told the pastor, we're not going back in there no more.
No, I don't blame you.
We're not going in there.
I don't blame you.
And they didn't. And I asked him, what happened after. And he just said, well, I'd say about a year or so after, the church burned down in mysterious circumstances.
Good Lord.
And I said, so do you think it was still a demon? He was like, he just said, yeah, more than likely it was a demon setting the church on fire.
Yeah, he sort of, it affected him, didn't it? Quite badly then, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, it was interesting because he was like, he wasn't one to exaggerate, and he said, no, he said that in that church that was a demon. He said that, when I was, he said, no, he said that was a demon. He said that was a demon coming for me.
Well,
and he was pretty scared.
As Hashi Larry has just put in the chat here, there's actually a few attacks that happened in churches. Black dogs and ball lightning are a couple. You're quite right. I think it was in Bungay or some place like that, where apparently on this church door, it's down south somewhere, and you can still see scratch marks in the door of these enormous claws that apparently tried to get into the church. Apparently a black hound thing attacked and killed several people in the church during a service. And you'll recall Andrea's encounter where she saw the dog man climbing along the church roof as well.
Oh, yep, that sounds, goodness, that sounds really kind of scary. I actually don't want to go to church now.
No, I don't want to go to church ever again now.
I don't, but no, I'm sorry if I've spent a long time telling you these stories, because it's things where you just, your mind was like, oh, school, oh, I remember that happening. Why?
Yeah, that's it. And things just trigger off, don't they? That's right. Well,
they do.
It certainly is a heck of a lot of tales from you, Fleur, I have to say. And we're all enjoying them, aren't we? So very good. Thanks for this latest lot.
No problem. Like I said, it's just things that I don't always remember everything that happened, but when it does, I'm like, oh, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've not had any things happen for quite a long time, so to be honest, I don't want any more bad anything's happening.
No, we don't want anybody to have bad, do we? No, not at all. No.
Anyway, you take care and hope
Thank
you feel
you.
a bit better.
Yes, I'm flagging now, I have to say, but yes, we'll try and see out the hour. Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Take care. Have a good rest.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Now we're straight into another one there. We were. Sorry if I may have just cut you off there. If you've been trying to call 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 15 times, please try again. Stephen, I'm looking at my emails. The last one I've got is the one that says in conversation with, which is the link to the YouTube video that you gave me, the interview. But is there another one? Have I missed another one? Or is that the one? If you could just let me know. I've just been in the junk mail looking for some that I might have missed, and I've actually found one from one of my patrons in there, so I've just hastily replied to that as well. So sometimes my non-replies, because I haven't seen it, you know. So haunted schools, haunted churches, all of those kinds of things play a large part, I think, in a lot of people's childhood memories. There's always somewhere. I think churches in particular, I could go out on a limb with this one, but I do think churches have some bad people in them as well as bad things, you know. So, Stephen, right, yes, very good. So I've got that one. I am sort of watching it in bits as I go. There's some real stuff on that story. There really is. John sent me 2 links. Very good. Okay, let me copy those, because what will happen is tomorrow those messages will have vanished. CERN Insider. We're going to copy that and we're going to stick it in a notepad, because I'm highly technical, you see. That's that one. And we're going to copy the interview that made her a target. Good Lord, yes, we'll take that one. Let me just save that and save as a text file, just so I can visit those tomorrow. John Links, or whatever that was that I just tried to spell there. There we go. Yes, because the WhatsApp does use a disappearing message chat. So tomorrow, all the messages are gone. I'll put those links into the chat at the end of the show. I'll put them in at the end for you, so people aren't clicking away. Hello, you're on Eerie's Vault Live, and welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Ian. It's Ian here.
Hello there, Ian. Sorry, have you been trying forever?
I have, yes. About 8 times. Anyway, got there now.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. I had to listen to that one from the other week, by the way.
Oh, what do you think of that?
Well, I was under the impression that it's actually yourself.
Oh. I wonder if I kicked the microphone stand or something.
Well, I'm not sure if it's that, if you weren't just sort of muttering in agreement.
Oh,
and
maybe.
Possibly surprised.
That's the less frightening explanation. Let's go with that.
Yeah, because it sounds very much like your voice.
Jolly good. Jolly good.
Yes. Okay. So this week I've got another interesting one.
Okay, what have you got for us this week?
Right, well, it says 1964, and it's Primary School Sports Day.
Okay.
And in the school hall, around 200 pupils are gathered. And after a short talk by the head teacher, they proceed to leave the hall and make their way to the playground, which has been set up as a running track, and in the centre, an area for other sports. Along with the rest, my schoolmates and me file onto a terrace of seats placed outside the back of the school building, which looks over the track. After the sports have been in progress for a while, one of my friends tapped me on the shoulder. I looked around to my left, and he pointed to the sky above the woods over the back of the school. "Look," he said, "there's a stream of silver flashes in the sky." I looked to where he was pointing, and indeed, I could see several silver objects glinting in the sunlight, all on a downward trajectory. And as we watched, they levelled out and disappeared over the woods. And now there's an interesting sequel to this story. Some years later in the 1990s, I had a friend who ran a book business, and he would hire stalls at exhibitions and the like to sell them. Usually his wife or one of his daughters would go along to assist. However, on this occasion they couldn't make it, so he asked me if I could stand in and attend at Cirencester. I wasn't doing anything on the date in question, so I readily agreed. On the day, after loading his van, we set off. Arriving, we checked in and began setting the stall. After the stall had been open for a while, business was slow, so I went for a walk around. Now, this event was a paranormal event, and one of the other stalls was that of the Eerie Society.
Okay.
So I thought I would go and have a chat. I got talking to one of the stall staff, and after a while, he asked me if I had had any sightings. So I described an incident. When I had finished, he said that it was interesting, but had nothing to do with them. After this, we talked about the society and how it started. And suddenly he said, "Do you remember those shining objects you saw at the school sports day?" Instantly, a picture of the incident I described above flashed into my mind. I was surprised, not having thought of it for many years.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yes, I do." He then said, "Well, that was the day when our ships first came to Earth, and they were what you saw."
Oh.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's more than interesting, I think. That was the day the ships first came to Earth.
Yes.
Gosh, and that's in the 60s, right?
Yes. So it's interesting when you think, well, you know, how did he actually know about the school sports day?
Yeah, how was he aware at all?
Yes, exactly.
That opens up a hell of a lot of queries and questions to me.
It does, doesn't it? Yes.
It certainly does. Goodness me. So he was entirely just nothing to do with you before this?
No, I'd never seen them before. No,
Yeah.
the first time I'd ever spoken to them, actually, I think.
Good Lord. Now that's odd.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. What did that make you feel like when it happened? Because we recount things, you know, but how was it?
Well, yeah, obviously, surprise, obviously, you know, and obviously going on thinking, really? You know, something like that, you know. And, and the way he says our ships.
Yes, that's right. How many more of them are there?
Yes, indeed. And the fact that he says our as opposed to, you know, their ships.
Yes, quite. Our ships. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're instantly thinking, oh, he's speaking to someone from Earth.
Yes, am I
or
speaking
somewhere
to
else.
one of the pilots? Yeah, that's it.
Yes, or something like that.
And
Yeah.
did you have any more contact with that individual afterwards, or was it sort of a one and done sort of thing?
Yes, it was a one-off. Yeah, I never heard anything more after that. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
How very we hesitate to use the word frightening because it doesn't sound like you're frightened of it, but goodness,
Oh, no, it wasn't
how
frightening
odd.
at all, no.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
odd, yes, definitely, yes. Yeah.
I wonder if he was
No,
a man
it
in
was
black.
so frightening. No, unfortunately, he wasn't. He was just in a t-shirt, I think.
That's a new.
Jeans.
You're going to spawn a new piece of ufological lore here. We're going to have the men in black, and then they'll be closely followed by the chaps in t-shirts. They'll be the next.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that'll be the next one.
Yeah.
Everybody will be seeing them now.
Yeah, they will now. Gosh, it's an odd one, and it's one absolutely without explanation, isn't it?
It is, yes, absolutely.
Some sort of telepathic, and what a memory to just reach in and choose to mention to you.
Well, exactly, yes, definitely. But strangely, it has happened to me before. But,
Oh, it has? Oh.
Yes, yeah. I'll go on then. I'll put that in as well.
Go on, twist your arm.
You're going to ask any minute. Yes. Well, this was one, excuse me, when I was at the Theosophical Society Lodge meeting one night. And I was talking to someone. And we got onto the subject of electronics and things like that. And then he got to the point where he said, do you remember the EL80 valve or tube, as they call them? And I said, and again, it was very similar to this one, something I'd never thought of for a long time. But back again in school days, I used to have a friend who was, a bit of an amateur radio person.
Right, yeah.
And one day I helped him, along with a couple of others, to repair, I think it was his receiver. And he said, now I'm going to have to replace one of the EL80 valves, and pointed to them. And that was the picture that instantly came into my mind on that one.
Oh, yeah. EL80 valves, gosh. So these are like the tubes, right? The sort of tube valves for radios. Gosh, yeah. Isn't it odd? Just one little thing like that can really sort of make you think, hang about. Why has that just happened? Yeah.
Well, exactly, yes.
Goodness me.
And how? How did it happen?
And how, exactly, yeah. And how much was an EL80 valve?
I think probably they'd only be a few shillings, I think, maybe. I think they were extremely expensive. At the time, anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if you could get them now. You probably still can, can't you? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, you can get them, yes. Yeah.
Enthusiasts loving that sort of stuff. Well, it's I don't know what to make of that one.
No.
I come away from that thinking you had an encounter with I don't want to say pilot of the ship, because I don't really I believe they are piloted anymore.
Right, I see what you mean, yes.
Yeah, I believe they are.
You mean more on a drone sort of?
Yeah, possibly. More controlled, certainly, intelligently, but perhaps not piloted as in terms of a person sat in it.
Yes, as we would expect, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe from a central base or computer or something.
Or a psionic, as they now call them, don't they? The psionic assets, psychic individuals.
Yes.
Goodness.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Quite. Well, you've taken us up to the top of the hour, Ian. Thank you very much for that call.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Any luck with Jenny yet?
No, not yet, but I keep trying different things. I won't take it. I won't take it as a blank refusal. I'll just assume it's unsuccessful so far. Yeah. But we'll keep having a bash at that. Yes, thank you, sir.
Yes, keep going, yeah. No problem.
All right.
I'll probably speak to you next time.
Certainly, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheerio. Good night. Well, ladies and gents, there we are. That is I've managed to last the 2 hours. I cannot do 3 this evening. I'm very sorry about that. Don't forget that the live show calls are archived on my second channel, so it's very easy to find individual calls without having to go through the sort of long videos. So every Sunday night, there is a clip released. We've been doing this about 8 or 9 months now. So we've got some really sort of older, I think they're Eerie's Vault classics now, that are already up there, and every Sunday night at midnight a new one goes up, and there's so much material. There's going to be videos for ages, but it's a good way to find the individual call rather than wondering, oh, which one was it in, which 2 or 3 hour video was it in. If you're into that, head over to Eerie's Vault Live's second channel. The link is in the description there. And subscribe as well, if you haven't done already. Sugar Sandwich, please do email me, and I will let you have access to the Eerie's Vault archive in OneDrive. Gosh, that took some dragging out of my mind. Here are another couple of links. So there's one that John sent me regarding the CERN thing, and here is the other. Head over to my channel first, though, and then head over to somebody else's channel. You know the drill, don't you? Are you a BBC or Channel 4 family? That's it, isn't it? Yes. So thank you once again, all of you. I think I'm going to go to bed now. Don't have nightmares. That's what they used to say, isn't it? Good night.